All right, so I wanted to show you a couple of things today with using WordPress. In particular, things that I think will be helpful for you will be being able to create new pages, being able to use the tab feature and sub-tabs, and then also show you a few things about hyperlinking and embedding video. Um, so with my site, I've got a few tabs on here. So my default was just the Home tab and the Content tab. And then I've added in this other one, which is about this value of ePortfolios. So that's the name of my project. So I've just put that project title on there. And then you can see that I've got subpages on here. And so this is one approach that I can recommend for you for how you might organize your project. So you can think of, do you want to make your project one long page, like a Wikipedia page? In which case it's just subdivided out internally. Or do you want to do like what many web pages do, is instead have multiple related pages, but that each smaller page kind of stands on its own and then links together. So those are two equally viable approaches, is like what we had talked about last week. So what I'm going to show you here is how to get this sort of effect on your page. So first thing, clicking on My Sites, which is up here in the upper left. And then you have the Site Pages link here. And right out to the side of it, you can see in the Add button. So click on that to add in a new page. So I'm just going to call it web text, but again, you can name this as any project. Then you're putting in your text. Note you can do like different headings. So this feature up here where you can change, if you're just paragraph, that's normal text, and then you can change it to different headings. The idea is that heading 1 is sort of your upper level. Heading 2 would be something that's underneath of that. So, well, actually, I guess what I would do would be introduction would be a heading 1, and then section 1 would also be at heading 1. And then if I've got subsections to that, I'd use like heading 2. Right, so you can see on this, it's giving you a little bit of a font size difference, but importantly, this is also something that screen readers are going to capture, so that's able to give people who have visual impairments and are having a screen reader going through, it will recognize those and will announce that this is a new section, this is a subsection, so on and so forth. So it's good to use those. So these sections are going to be really important if you've got longer pages, if you're going for that sort of Wikipedia style where you've got the singular long page, you're going to want to break it up into sections. It also makes it easier for people to navigate through. I'm going to go ahead and click Publish. Now when I go back to my site here, you might notice that new page that I created does not immediately appear here. Okay, I've just got the pages that I already had created. So what you're going to have to do then is add that into your menu. And you can either do that by clicking up to My Sites, or usually if you're floating down, this editing bar will appear, and there's this Customize button. So you can use that to customize, or go up to My Sites, scroll down to Themes, and click on the Customize button here. Either will take you to the same thing. So this gives you your theme customization. find your menus item, click on the primary menu. So this shows you everything that's already in the menu. And then to add your new pages, you would click on Add Item, and it's going to show you all of the available items that you have to add. So here's my new one that I just created, was this web text. So I click on that, and you can see now it's appeared over here. So a couple of other things here to notice is, so anything new that you're adding, it will automatically put it at the end of the list. That may not be where you want it. So to change it, you would click on Reorder, and then that gives you these arrows, up, down, and left, right arrows. So the up, down, as you can see, that kind of moves it through. The left, right is what you do in order to turn something into a subpage or not. So you can see here, I'd already created these earlier pages, and I've made them as subpages. So by clicking left and right, it kicks these in or out. So like if I wanted to make this a subpage, I click on that and it just tabs it in just a little bit here. And so that visually lets you know that now it's a subpage of the value of ePortfolio. Okay, but I actually want this to be its own standalone. So I'm doing that. Click Done when you're finished moving it, and then click Publish in order to make it stick. Okay, if you don't, it won't save. Okay, so now that's saved, and I X out, and I can scroll down, and there. So I've got all of my new my pages available on there. And so, again, now I can create more pages, and I can create new subpages on that, and so on and so forth. By the way, so I'm assuming here I'm showing you how the menus will look if you put it up across the top bar. You can actually change the location. Where do you want it to go? So like I could if I do a secondary menu, so I could create a secondary menu and then create new menu, and that would allow me to like put one that's along the side. So you don't have to put it along the top. If you'd rather have it on one of the sides, you can create that secondary menu instead. And so that's just to change the appearance. Okay. Any questions? Anything that any further things that I can answer for you about creating pages and modifying the menus? Okay. Now, again, notice here that I was creating pages and not creating blog posts. So blog posts are fine for when you're doing your short entries and the stuff that you've been doing so far in the class. But for this web text, you want to do a page and not a post. The reason for that is that on the page, you've got more control. You can do those sub pages and stuff like that. Whereas if you're doing them as blog posts, it's going to show up like these, where you've just got these small, these little entries at the beginning. It's more difficult for people to navigate through because there's only one way to navigate. You have to scroll down and you're viewing them in reverse chronological order. Whereas if you have created pages, it's easier to navigate because you can go through, you can use these tabs, you can read them in different order. So it's more user-friendly to use pages to set up your web text. I've already created a works cited earlier, but I just wanted to show you as a reminder, you want to make sure that you are including your sources list. And anytime that you do have a link, make sure that you create a hyperlink to go along with that source. So if you've got a web source, make that live. Don't just have it as a typed out link. So again, I'd already created this as a link, but let me just show you one of the others how I might do that. So this is a book. So I can't actually link to the book, but maybe I want to make it possible for people to go to the publisher's site. So what I can do is I can open up a new tab, I can do a search for that. And here is the Google Doc preview. Okay, so I'm going to open that up. You can see here they've got a link. So I click on that, copy and paste that link. I'm going back into my WordPress. It's still highlighted. Okay, going to click down here on edit so I can edit the page. So I find it, highlight the text again, and then I find the insert edit link button up here. It looks like a chain link. I paste in the URL. And then here is an important thing to do. So anytime that you are linking outside of your page, it's good practice to use this option here, open link in a new window tab. Click on that. What that means is when people click on that link, it's going to open, it's not just going to replace that, it's not just going to open it up and replace my WordPress, it's going to open it up in a new location. So I add the link. You can see now it's been hyperlinked. I click update to make it stick. And then I'm going to go to the page. I find my link, make sure that it works, and there. So you can see it's opened up a new tab. It takes me to the preview for that. But my original WordPress site is still there. Now, if I was creating instead like links within my page, so I'm just going to go here to this sample web text. Again, I'm going to edit. So on all of your pages, you can always find an edit button at the bottom. So that's how you can edit your page. So let's say I've mentioned a term that gets picked up on one of my other pages. Okay, so I've got ePortfolios, and I have another page that's about ePortfolios. So I highlight the word ePortfolio. I click on Insert Edit Link. And now instead of copying in a URL, I can look down here at the list of all of my existing pages. So every page and every blog post I've created appears here. And so I can just select that, and then it's going to make a link for me between those two pages. Now in this case, because I'm linking inside of the same WordPress account, I'm not going to activate this. Okay, so kind of think about when you're on, when you're on Wikipedia. If you're clicking on a link within Wikipedia, it's going to keep you on the same page. I mean, it takes you to a new page, but it just keeps you on the same window. Whereas if you scroll all the way down and you click on one of their source links, where it's going to take you outside of Wikipedia, it's going to open up that new tab. That way Wikipedia doesn't go away. Okay, so you want to kind of do the same thing here. Okay, again, just to demonstrate. So remember earlier when I had clicked on the thing for the remixing composition book, it opened up a new tab, took me to a new tab. But now I'm clicking on this one where I've told it not to create a new tab. So I click and see it keeps me in the same tab, and it takes me to that new page. And again, that's what I want because I'm staying internal on my site. So kind of keep track of that. That's just good practice to do. The ones that take you outside, open a new tab. The things that keep you inside of your domain name, inside of your WordPress, you don't need to open up the new tab. All right. Any other questions related to hyperlinking? All right.